So without further ado, here we go. So this guy to the right of me, you might be asking, who is he? Well, he joined the Pittsburgh Steelers in the 1979 NFL Draft as a sixth-round draft pick, 161st selection overall out of the University of Louisville. Now, once he joined the Steelers, he went on to enjoy an 11-year career where he won Super Bowl 14. Hold on now. This is Pittsburgh, right? Okay, when we talk about Super Bowl champions here, we like them, right? So when we say Super Bowl champ, I need you to make some noise. So this man right here won Super Bowl 14. Exactly. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But then after that, he went on to play in 157 games, starting 105 of them, had 37 career interceptions, 3 touchdowns. But that's not it. He also practiced law and played in the NFL at the same time for 3 years. Oh, and he currently sits as a judge in the Court of Common Pleas right here in Allegheny County. So without further ado, give a warm Pittsburgh welcome to the judge, Dwayne Woodruff.
Thank you all very much. Thank you. Great to be here.
Your Honor, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, doing great.
Man, well, I feel real,
Just wish our team was doing a little better, but other than that, I'm doing well.
Well, we talked about the interceptions. I might need you out here later on today, okay? So just be ready. You still look like you got it, too.
Well, I didn't bring my shoes. I got to go back home.
But let's start it off right there, man, in the sense of you being a lawyer and playing in the NFL at the same time. How did that come about? And ultimately, how did that work for you?
Well, I was always looking for something to do after football. And I don't know if I had too many hits or whatever, but I always wanted to do something that was competitive. I felt battling in the courtroom was going to be competitive for me as well. The only issue is I couldn't hit anybody like I wanted to, even if they deserved it. But it was a good transition, trying to prepare for life. Our coach, Chuck Noll, always said, be prepared. You're prepared for your future, prepare for your life's work. And that's what I did.
I like that. I like that. Now, once you did join the Steelers, like I said, as a rookie, you were part of that championship team, that Super Bowl winning team. I see you. I see. We're supposed to get a little louder than that, though. The Super Bowl winning team. Thank you. But talk about what was that experience like for you, winning Super Bowl 14 as a rookie?
Well, coming in as a rookie, first of all, I was just concerned about making the team when I got here. I was 6th-round pick. The Steelers had, they had 7 defensive backs. 4 of those were all pros. You got to look at, 2 of them are in the Hall of Fame, and Blunt and Shell. And I was trying to figure out why did they draft me just coming off the, Super Bowl win. They didn't really need anybody. And the one defensive back that wasn't in that count was J.T. Thomas. So he made 8. And so he was an all-pro guy as well. So I'm just trying to figure out, why they drafted me. And I figured, because, there's so much running in training camp, they need just another body out there to run around. I was determined not to be just that other body out there running around. So I just come in and making this football team, being encouraged by the players that they had now. When you look at Ron Johnson, Donnie Shell, Mike Wagner, on that team, Larry Anderson as well. I just tried to emulate a lot of things that they did and work as hard as they did as well. It paid off for me. I was able to make this team and contribute everything I had to win another Super Bowl.
No, you absolutely contributed, man, and in a major way. And when we talk about you having 37 career interceptions,
I dropped a couple.
You dropped.
Should have been in the 40s, but...
Now, like I said, I know the equipment manager really well. If you need cleats today, I got you, all right? I got you.
Yeah.
But of your 37 career interceptions, which one was your most favorite or most memorable? And if it's too hard to pick one, if you have a top 3, you could give us that as well.
Well, probably the most memorable ones, 2 of them actually. We played, the 2 playoff games here. I had interceptions in both of those, but those aren't counted in the stats. And so the ones that are most memorable for me, the ones aren't counted in the stats. But they were just, I still got the football at the house. I got it all painted up, so it means just as much.
Let's go. I like that. Now, we talk about you joining the Steelers in the 6th round. You're part of that 6th round fraternity. I'm a 6th round draft pick as well, so we got to stick together. There it is. But talk about your NFL draft story. Did you know you were going to get drafted? Did you expect to come to Pittsburgh? What was going on with that?
I did not have any idea. We had a running back on our team by the name of Nathan Poole at Louisville. He was our star player. He was the one all the scouts were, coming to see. But he lived right across the hall from me. And so I told every time you go, you call me, I'm going too. And so every scout that came to see him, I'd go and work out, and they saw me as well. So I wasn't anticipating being drafted at all. I did get the call on the first draft day, and if you remember, there was no ESPN. ESPN was just starting back in '79. And so the draft was on the radio, and it was delayed. And so they'd have the draft, and it was delayed. And then when the Steelers got ready to pick, they had the last pick in the 6th round. I knew they weren't drafting me. So I turned the radio off, and we were leaving to go get something to eat when the phone rang. I answered the phone, and they said, "This is the Pittsburgh Steelers. When he said just, I hung the phone up. I said, you ain't fooling me, I knew it was one of the guys out there trying to fool me. I hung up. I was walking out the door, the phone rang again, and George Perlis, he says, "This is George Perlis. Don't hang up the phone. It's really the Pittsburgh Steelers. We just drafted you with our pick in the 6th round." And I was excited as could be. It meant a lot to me, and I was excited until I figured out exactly who was on that team, and that excitement went from here to here. I said, "Man, this is going to be tough trying to get on the Pittsburgh Steelers," but everything worked out very well.
No, absolutely. It absolutely did work out, man. Now, as I stated earlier, you started out as a lawyer, but you made that transition to becoming a judge, and more importantly, in the Court of Common Pleas. Just talk about what inspired that transition.
Well, it's one of those things that your friends and the people come to you and want you to do different things. You think about it. When I was first asked to run for judge, obviously I said no. My father was living with me. We had a lot of things we had to do. I had 3 children. I said, I don't have the time to do it, nor do I have the energy or desire. But then after my kids got a little older, I started thinking about all the good things I could do as a judge that I wasn't doing as a lawyer. And I said, well, maybe that may be, something for me to do. If the Lord put this in my plate for me to do, maybe I should see where it goes from there. And so I ran for judge, was able to get selected. I was the #1 vote getter, which was great. I'm now the supervising judge in juvenile court, and I just love it, all the things that we can do as judges.
No, absolutely, man. And we're always glad to be able to say we got a Pittsburgh Steeler as a judge. So definitely keep that thing going. And I got a couple more questions. Then after that, we will open it up to the audience to ask the judge some questions as well. But I did want to just follow up with you being a judge. I know that you had ran in terms of trying to get the Supreme Court nomination, and you did get nominated twice.
Yes.
But unfortunately, you weren't successful. Is that still something that you're going to be inspiring to do later on, or have you changed your mind on that?
Well, I got a quick answer for that. No. No. I mean, it was nice running for Supreme Court. That was a difficult decision for me. I love where I am in juvenile court and what I do. But with so many things I think need to be changed and improved. In the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, I wanted to be a part of that. But it's a long road to being selected as the Supreme Court. I won the Democratic nomination here, even though we run on both tickets. But it's just something that I'm old now.
You're not old, man. You look good.
It's not something I want to go through anymore.
Now, you do currently sit 5th all-time on the Steelers interception list. 37 of those things. 37. What is the secret, or what was your secret in terms of just being able to create that type of splash, those type of turnovers consistently?
Well, for me, one of the things when I was drafted here, George Perlis always used to say, you can't make a play if you're not next to the football. And so that was my whole goal. When I'm covering someone, you just want to go to where the football is. And when I saw it in the air, I just ran to the football all the time. And it's like he's throwing it to me. That's what I thought. And so I just went out and tried to get the football all the time, was able to come up with a number of interceptions. There was a couple of tips. One of the things, even if they were throwing it to somebody else's man, I would always run to where the football was going because that's where all the action was. And if I could just get there in time, some good things happen. Now that I'm 37, it's got to be like 6 or 7 of those interceptions just coming. The guy wasn't even throwing the ball to my man. He's just throwing it out there, and I'm just running to the football. And we were able to come up with that. A number of fumble recoveries. I don't know. You like Florida.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I remember being down Miami. It's raining cats and dogs, and just running to the ball. And, there was a fumble recovery I was able to pick up and run in for a touchdown. But just being involved with the game, trying to be there where the ball is all the time, because that's where everything's happening.
I like it. I like it. So the last question I have for you before I open it up for questions from this amazing audience, talk about your welcome to the NFL moment. That moment when you finally felt like, okay, I'm here. Whether it was a good play or a not so good play.
Well, for me, it's sort of like in the middle of the road. When I came to training camp out at Latrobe, I was in the best shape of my life. I'd worked out like crazy at Louisville. And so when I got here, after about 3 or 4 days, I ended up in the hospital. I was so dehydrated. I was cramping everywhere. And so for about the next 2 or 3 days, until the veterans came in, my NFL moment was laid up at St. Vincent Hospital.
Oh, no.
Where I was. And when they came back in, I finally, came back out and was able to practice again. But it was a difficult time, during that time. And as you know, like now, during training camp, there's no hitting in camp.
Right.
They go practice once with pads, once without pads. We were 2, sometimes 3 a days in pads. So it was a lot different than trying to make a team that it is today.
No, absolutely. No. And I'm actually glad that you made it out of that thing, though, and went on to have an amazing career after that, man. So, once again, please give the judge, Dwayne Woodruff, a warm round of applause.
Thank you. Thank you.
And now, if you have any questions for I like that jersey. Hey. There we go. So if you have any questions for Dwayne Woodruff, let me know, man. Put your hand up, and we'll go ahead and get this question answered. You got one? Yeah, come on over.
I don't have a question. I just wanted to say go Dukes. I go to JMU. I'm a junior this year.
Hey, let's go. Go Dukes. Appreciate you. Yeah.
Dwayne, who was your hardest tackle in your whole career? Who was the hardest person that you had to tackle? Like your
hardest person I had to cover?
The hardest person you had to cover.
I tell you what, I can't name just one receiver who was the hardest, but normally it's between the receiver and the quarterback. And right now, when I look back on my career, I look at Houston when they had Warren Moon, playing down there with Givens and those guys. They were all fast, and he could throw the football pretty good. And so that was always one of the toughest games to play and try to get ready for, was playing against Houston Oilers. And on top of that, just to tenderize you a little bit, they had Earl Campbell running the football too.
I like it. Got another question. Question for Dwayne Woodruff. She said you look fantastic. I would agree,
well,
man. You look
very
like you
much.
still got it.
Thank you. You can keep asking any questions you want.
You got one?
Speaking of Houston, what was your thought when Earl Campbell, if he broke through into the secondary, having to tackle him? Earl Campbell broke through into the secondary. What was your thought when you have to try to tackle him, somebody like that size?
When Earl Campbell broke through, I had the same thoughts if I saw a semi driving down the highway and I was standing in the middle of the highway. So it was going to be a difficult moment, more difficult for me than it would be for him.
I like it. That was a good one. Got any other questions? Questions for? What's up, man? Good to see you. Oh, all right, here we go.
Your favorite Super Bowl team you played on?
My favorite Super Bowl team to play on?
Yeah.
Well, actually, I was only on the one in 1979, the fourth one, which I thought was a great. I think our ring, it looks better than the other 5 anyway.
Got a little extra diamond on it. Yeah.
So that was obviously my most favorite. I remember as we were playing the Rams, it was funny because that was the Rams' home stadium, but we were in the home locker room since we were the defending champions as well. So it was nice being in that room. I remember Joe Green coming around and said, "Rookie, now you're going to see some real football." And I'm thinking, what I've been watching for the last 15 games. But we had a good team. We were stacked at every position as well, and that's how you end up winning Super Bowl championships with those kind of individual guys at their positions.
All right. Got time for one or two more? Yeah.
So as a judge, how many Browns fans did you send to jail?
I love that. As a judge, how many Browns fans have you sent to jail?
Well, that's an easy one too. All of them.
I like it. I like it. So yeah, we got time for one more. Oh, I see you right there. Nice jersey, by the way. Yes, sir.
What is your favorite job?
What's my favorite job, being a judge or in the NFL? I didn't know we were supposed to have those tough questions.
I was about
like
to say,
this.
man, sheesh.
I tell you what, personally, the favorite's always, being in the NFL, but particularly being in the NFL here in Pittsburgh. You guys are the greatest fans in the world, and I've seen fans from all over the cities. There's no greater fans than here in Pittsburgh.
Give yourself some love. Absolutely.
But as far as what I'm doing individually, obviously I have a passion for being a judge as well. I love that. I love helping families, helping children and kids as well, and having the opportunity to do that each and every day is amazing. I just thank the Lord for that.
Well, with that being said, you got one? All right, just for you, because I like that TP jersey, baby. Let's go.
Are there any players that you guys still keep in touch with that you guys are friends with now?
Any players that we keep in touch with now and hang out with now? Well, I think for me, playing back in the 70s and 80s, a lot of my teammates are here in Pittsburgh still.
Yeah, same.
I think for people like Arthur, they leave and go different places, so it's difficult for them. But you look at prior to Tunch passing, I used to see Tunch all the time, and Mel Blount, and Joe Green, Joe Drew was up here last weekend as well. So mostly all the guys I played with that are still living, I see all the time as well. But even when I travel across the country, now they've got these cell phones, I can call anybody. So if I'm going to Phoenix, I'll look under the Phoenix, and there'll be 2 or 3 guys that are in Phoenix, I'll call them. And so we'll get to hang out while I'm there as well. So, it's like a huge family across the country that I have the ability to see.
Yeah, and pretty much similar for me. Any of the linebackers, though, from 2014 to 2017, we all pretty close still, man. So that's what I would say as well.
And, we just had our one of the reunions. Is that last weekend?
About 2 weeks ago. Yeah.
My memory's like what it used to be. But they'll come back, and we'll get to see a lot of guys all throughout the year.
Well, once again, man, you all have been amazing. Give yourselves another round of applause, man. Another warm round of applause. And we're going to need you to get loud because it is game day, and we're going to need a big one today. So that does conclude our interview. We will take some pictures afterwards, but we definitely appreciate you. As always, here we go, Steelers.
Thank you all very much.